हरे नंद लाला। कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला। कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला। भज मुरली मनो हरे नंद लाला। भज मुरली मनो हरे नंद लाला। कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला। कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला। कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला। कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला। भज मुरली मनोहर नंद लाला। भज मुरली मनोहर नंद लाला। भज मुरली मनोहर नंद लाला। हे गोपाल राधा कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद। हे गोपाल राधा कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद। गोविंद गोविंद कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद। गोविंद गोविंद कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद। हे गोपाल राधा कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद। हे गोपाल राधा कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद। गोविंद गोविंद कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद। गोविंद गोविंद कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद। हे गोपाल राधा कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद। हे गोपाल राधा कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद। कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला। कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला। भज मुरली मनोहर नंद लाला। भज मुरली मनो भज मुरली मनोहर नंद लाला। कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला। कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला। हे गोपाल राधा कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद। हे गोपाल राधा कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद। गोविंद गोविंद कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद। गोविंद गोविंद कृष्ण। हे गोपाल राधा कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद। हे गोपाल राधा कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद। हे गोपाल राधा कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद। गोविंद गोविंद कृष्ण गोविंद। गोविंद गोविंद कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद। हे गोपाल राधा कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद। हे गोपाल राधा कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी। हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी। हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा। हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा। हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा। हे लक्ष्मी नारायण वासुदेवा। हे बद्री नारायण वासुदेवा। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी। हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी। हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा। हे राम नारायण वासुदेवा। हे श्याम नारायण वासुदेवा। हे राम नारायण वासुदेवा। हे श्याम नारायण वासुदेवा। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी। हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी। हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव। हे बद्री नारायण वासुदेवा। हे लक्ष्मी नारायण वासुदेवा। हे नाथ नारायण हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा, श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी। हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा, श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी। हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा। हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा, श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी। हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा, श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी। हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा, हे बद्री नारायण वासुदेवा, हे बद्री नारायण वासुदेवा। हे लक्ष्मी नारायण वासुदेवा, हे लक्ष्मी नारायण वासुदेवा। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी। हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा, श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी। हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा। कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला, कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला। भज मुरली मनोहर नंदलाला, भज मुरली मनोहर नंदलाला। कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला, कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला। कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी। हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा, श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी। हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा, श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी। हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा। हरे रामा 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 हरे हरे, हरे रामा 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे रामा 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 हरे हरे। हरे रामा 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 हरे हरे। हरे रामा 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे रामा 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 हरे हरे। हरे रामा 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 हरे हरे। शिव शंभो शंभो, शिव शंभो 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 महादेवा। हरे 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 महादेवा, शंभो महादेवा। शिव शंभो 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 महादेवा। हरे 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 महादेवा, शंभो महादेवा। हरे 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 महादेवा, शंभो महादेवा। शिव शंभो 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 महादेवा। शिव शंभो 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 महादेवा। हरे 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 महादेवा, शंभो महादेवा। हरे 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 महादेवा, शंभो महादेवा श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला भज मुरली मनोहर नंद लाला भज मुरली मनोहर नंद लाला कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला 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 भज मुरली मनोहर नंद लाला भज मुरली मनोहर नंद लाला कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला 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 भज मुरली मनोहर नंद लाला भज मुरली मनोहर नंद लाला कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला भज मुरली मनोहर नंद लाला भज मुरली मनोहर नंद लाला कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः।
Let's begin with a short meditation. Find a position that's comfortable for you. One in which you're straight, stable, and the breath can flow freely. Allow the awareness, the consciousness to be drawn inward. Feel the sensation and perception drawing from the outer world to the inner world. Allow the awareness to come to the breath. Fully merge your consciousness and awareness with your breath as it flows in and flows out. Don't try to change it. Don't manipulate it. Just allow the awareness to merge with the breath. As you exhale, allow yourself to let go. Let go of the roles that you play. Let go of the dramas. Let go of the identities and histories. Let go of the titles, the masks, all of that you wear over the true self. As you exhale, just let them all go. And allow yourself to sink deeper and deeper into the self with each exhalation. Let it go more and more. With each exhalation, allow yourself to get freer and freer of that which is not self. Of all of the personalities, all of the false identities, all of the responsibilities. Just allow yourself to breathe it out and sink deeply into the spaciousness within the self. Sounds may come. Bodily sensations may come. Smells may come. Thoughts may come. Don't try to fight them off, but don't allow your awareness to get hooked into them. Just allow them to blow across your consciousness. Like wispy clouds blow across a blue sky on a windy day. Keep the awareness focused on the space between those clouds. And just draw the awareness back to the breath. As you let yourself sink deeper and deeper. Freer and freer on each exhalation. Gently bring the palms together at chest level and rub them gently against each other. Cup your palms over your closed eyes. Whenever you're ready, open your eyes into the palms of your hands and lower your hands. Welcome to Satsang, everyone. We'll begin with a question that has come in advance, and then I'll open it up to any questions that we have here. Why does love happen in humans? And why do people not accommodate it if it is divine? So an interesting place to start. Why does love happen? Well, love happens because it's our nature. The nature of who we are is to love. It's not just humans, though. Has anybody ever had a pet or an animal that they worked with somewhere? Has anybody ever felt love with an animal? Yeah, right? Has anybody ever felt love with a tree? Right? There is an undeniable, and I say this as someone who has personally experienced it, undeniable experience of not one-sided love, not I love that tree, but a mutual love with a tree. I know people who have mutual love with their pets. So first of all, it's important to know that it is definitely not just humans. And whether animals are capable of loving humans, which I absolutely think they are, or not, we know that they're certainly capable of loving each other and their own offspring. So it's not just humans, but we certainly may be the only species to come home with flowers, or, throw surprise parties, or things like that for our loved ones. We may be the only species to write poetry, but I don't think by any means we're the only species to experience love. In fact, for me, love is really the energy of the universe. When you see a flower open and blossom, it feels like the love of creation. When you see a sunrise or a sunset, it feels like love. Not that the sun loves us so much it's putting on a show, I don't mean that, but that the beauty of the display is such that if there weren't an energy of love running through the universe, running through creation, we wouldn't have experiences like that. The creation itself, nature itself, wouldn't manifest the way that it does if there weren't love running through it. So I don't think that it's only humans, but Cello, let's look at humans, since that's what the question has asked us. In humans it happens, as I said, because it is our nature. It happens because when we are in love, something very specific and very special happens, which is we open ourselves to an experience of being more than just this separate individual. If it's just me, I'm separate, I'm over here, you're over there. But if we love, there is a place in which there's no longer two separate beings. There's a place in which that two becomes one. And anybody who's ever experienced love knows exactly what I'm talking about. And whether it's physical love or not. But in a way, if you look at the attachment to, the great pull of physical love, the expression of physical love, well, what does it give us? It gives us a physical sensation of union with another being. It gives us physical sensation of losing for that moment this experience of being separate from everything else that exists. That in that moment at least, you and I are one. And in that moment, at least through you, I experience a sense of oneness with the universe. Now, the beautiful thing about love is it doesn't have to be physical in order to have that experience. But that's the way that most people know. That's sort of the easiest way in, which is why, those of us who have taken, for example, paths of celibacy, paths of renunciation, where we get this incredible, incredulous looks on the face of people. Of, oh my God, really? Celibacy? I mean, how could you? Because if we only know one way into that experience, then celibacy seems like torture. It seems like you've cut yourself off from all of the world. But if you realize that actually there's ways into that experience of oneness with creation that don't necessarily require using the body, that aren't physical ways, that aren't sexual ways, that aren't sensual ways, but that get you into In fact, an even deeper experience of oneness. But this is what the pull of love is. Love gives us the experience of our true self, our true nature. And even if we just have it with one person, or one tree, or one animal, through that I've had an experience of touching, even for an instant, an expanded sense of myself. And ultimately that's what life is for, but the purpose is not to just end with one. The point is not that just in the course of our life we should end with just experiencing loving one person or one tree or one animal. Ultimately, that love should be a doorway that opens us up into the possibility of what love can bring and what love can mean. And that experience is what life is about. But you can't have it without love. Now again, the love doesn't have to necessarily be directed to one. When you look at the lives of the saints and the sages and the prophets and the mystics, they were in love with creation, every bit of it. There's beautiful stories of Paramhans Ramakrishna who would bow in pranam on the ground in love to prostitutes, because in them he saw his divine mother, his beloved, who literally just moved through the world. Whatever he was seeing in that was seeing the image of his beloved. And ultimately that's the goal. Is how can I, through whatever I see, wherever I go, how can I experience that love? And so that's why we have it. The question for us is, how am I going to use that? Am I going to use my experience of love just for one spouse, couple of children, maybe a good friend or two, maybe a pet? Or am I going to understand that the power of love that I've been given is something much more powerful than that? Sure, love the spouse, love the kids, absolutely, but realize that actually the power is to love much more. And that until and unless we are expanding out the possibility of love every day, we're not actually fulfilling our purpose on earth. That ask yourself every day, how much did I love? And that should give you a pretty good idea of how valuable that day was. How much in that day you fulfilled your purpose. You can line it up pretty much with how much you loved. Because regardless of what any of our individual purpose or dharma or duty may be, it's all going to be wrapped up in love. Because that is the energy of the universe. It's the energy of creation. It's the energy of the divine on earth. And so to the extent that we are an embodiment of that divine, love is what we share. Love is who we are. It's what we do. So before taking any others that came in advance, I know that we have questions in the room. I had said that we would start with yours. Yes.
So, Pranam. I want you to explain to us what is karma and what is destiny.
Okay.
How do you balance karma and destiny?
Okay, great. So karma and destiny. What am I getting because it's my destiny? And what am I getting because it's the fruits of my own karma? Well, they actually are part of the same whole. And it looks like this. We are all here in this room, in this moment. You could say it is predestined, right? It was predestined for all of us to be here. Well, how do I know that? Because we're here. If it wasn't predestined for us to be here, we wouldn't be here. The fact that you're here means it was predestined. Now, what predetermined it? What created that destiny? Well, if we went around, each of us could look at what we talk about as our short-term karma, our medium-term karma, our long-term karma. There's basically 3 types of karma. I won't go into all of them in too much detail right now, but there's the short-term karma. So, for example, I feel thirsty. I drink water. The fruit of the karma, the action of drinking the water, the fruit is my thirst is quenched. Immediate result. Then you have what Puja Swamiji calls short-term FDRs. Or for those of us from America, short-term CDs. So they're bank deposits. They're the 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 5 year type of deposits. That's the, I go to school now, I study now, I'm going to graduate, get a job in a few years. I'm learning a skill now. A couple of years down the line, I'm going to be able to use that skill. I've made a commitment to start getting up every day and meditating. I've made a commitment to start doing seva. I've made a commitment to start taking care of my health. Well, maybe not within 24 hours, but give it a few weeks or months, certainly a few years. You're going to notice a vast difference in your physical health, in your emotional health, in your spiritual health. You'll notice a vast change in your life. Then there's the long-term deposits, the stuff that bears fruit, maybe decades later, maybe lifetimes later. But that which we have now is a result of all of those together. And so we could look back on each of us and we could look at what's the short-term karmic seeds that we planted that have brought us into this room. Well, we walked in. Literally. We decided, from the arti, we decided rather than going shopping that we'd come for satsang. Simple decision. Maybe we had planned it in advance. Maybe we've been coming every night. Maybe we haven't. Maybe it's the first time. But we made a decision a little while ago. Not going to shop yet. Not going to go for dinner yet. Going to come for satsang for a little while. Go back a ways. What is it that brought you to Rishikesh to begin with? And what is it that has planted the seeds in you that makes you the type of person who comes for satsang? Because there's a lot going on in Rishikesh. And for people, our family who's joining us from all over the world via TV and social media, well, you've got a lot going on in your lives. What is it that's made you join in? And so that's the short-term karma. You've built up a pattern, a personality, a habit, a yearning that's got you here rather than watching a ball game in a bar. There's a lot of people right now sitting in bars watching ball games. There's lots of people out at clubs. There's lots of people on the street taking drugs, getting drunk. I mean, there's all sorts of people doing all sorts of things right now. But somewhere within the not too distant past, you've made decisions about what type of person you're going to be. What the focus of your life is going to be. What are you searching for? What are you yearning? What is your path? That has set you up to be in Rishikesh, to be at an ashram, to walk in for satsang. Go back farther. What family you decided to take birth in. What experiences you drew to yourself in your early years. So this is all, it's all fruits of karma. But now we're here. So we know that it's been predetermined. It's our destiny to be here. But what about tomorrow? What about next week? What about next year? Well, that's where free will comes in. You could certainly walk out of satsang and say, oh my God, I cannot believe I lost 45 minutes that I could have been getting drunk instead. It's your free will. You could walk out of here, you could race to the nearest bar. And you could make a different decision. That's your free will. Or you could walk out of here, you could have dinner here at the ashram, you could sit on the banks of Ganga, you could think about the things we've talked about. You could recommit yourself even stronger to planting the seeds in your life that are going to bear the trees and the fruit that you want, of peace, of joy, of spiritual connection, of meaning in life. You could recommit yourself to that. Well, you'd be someplace very different tomorrow than those who had decided to run off and find the nearest bar. But you've got the free will. That's not predetermined yet. It's impacted by who you are, by what you're thinking. But this is your free will, to walk out and to do whatever you want. And this is really what creates our destiny. We're creating our destiny. We're creating it with the choices we make. And so when you make a choice, when you make a decision, you are literally predetermining where you're going to be next week, next year, tomorrow, what your life is going to be like. The karma you do today will bear fruit tomorrow. That's creating your destiny. So this is where they intersect. And the dilemma becomes that a lot of times when things go wrong, we tend to do one of two things. Either we blame ourselves. Oh my God, I'm so stupid. I can't believe I did that. Well, we're all doing the best we can. Just knowing that it's the fruit of your karma, it's not about making you feel bad. It's not about blame. You did the very best in that moment you could, with who you were in that moment. If it didn't bring you to where you want to be, just do better in the next moment. Make a different choice, different decision. Or where it tends to take us is we blame the universe. Stars are in the wrong place. God is against me. And we blame outer forces without realizing the power that we have, the power of the mind, to change those, to impact those, to affect those. It's not that the stars determine things. They give us situations like the moon gives us high tide or low tide. The moon doesn't determine, are you going to drown or not? All the moon gives you is a situation of high tide and low tide. Your decision to go swimming when you don't know how to swim in high tide, a decision you make out of free will, not using your intellect. That's what leads to trouble. It's not the moon that did it to you. The moon just gave you high tide. Even in that moment of high tide, even in that moment of whatever situation the planets, the stars, the moon have given us, we have our free will of how to act in that situation. And what we know is when you're not a strong swimmer and it's high tide, stay out of the ocean. Right? Wait till low tide. You know, there's a great example for this that we give frequently. It's Puja Swamiji's favorite simple example about this, which is he says, okay, let's say that your destiny up until this moment is that you get a cow. Okay? That's the sum total of all of your past karmas. A cow. You can't change it. You can't rewrite history. You can't give yourself a puppy instead or a lamb instead. You've got a cow. But that cow gives you manure. Now, if you use that manure in your field, it's a great organic fertilizer. It's wonderful for your fields. You'll have a great harvest. You can eat well. You can feed others. Cow also gives you milk. Assuming that your cow is treated lovingly and eats organic feed and roams naturally outside on the grass, that milk is going to be healthy for you. Drink it. Make yogurt. Make cheese. Make ghee. Your health is going to be good. But if you do the opposite, and you eat the manure and you dump your milk in the field, you're going to be sick and your crops are going to die. But that's not because the universe was against you. That's not because your stars were in the wrong place. The universe, including your stars, gave you the cow. That was your destiny in that moment. What you did with that is what determines whether you were healthy or sick, whether your crops were healthy or sick. That's our free will. And that's the importance of really cultivating what we call buddhi, intelligence, intellect. It's the importance of the power of discrimination. Really understanding truth, falsehood. It's the importance of meditating and intuition and really knowing, okay, what's my fear, what's my ego, what's my desire versus what's my real inner calling. What's that inner voice really telling me? Because that's how we make the right decisions. And then that's how we create our own destiny. Other questions? Yes.
So something like rape or murder, something very is that the person's karma, or can it be that you were just at the wrong place at the wrong time, or actually the victim of someone else's action?
Okay, great. So when really bad things happen, rape, murder, she said, is that always the result of your karma? Or could you just be in the wrong place at the wrong time and fall victim? Neither. Meaning, it's not only either of those. Yes, either of those is a possibility. In some cases, I'm sure we could go back through history and find someone who was murdered as a result of their own actions. But when it's not that, that doesn't also necessarily mean the only two choices are not. Either it's a result of your own actions, or you were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. There's another possibility. But it requires us to step back enough from the tapestry of life. See, the problem for most of us is we can only see a very, very small intersection of time and space. So we see right here, right now. We see a thread, or maybe two threads intersecting in a tapestry of life. Were you here last night? Okay. Were you here last night when we spoke about the Ramayana and I gave, okay. So I'm not going to go into the whole story again, but last night we looked at different pieces from the epic of the Ramayana that wove together seemingly absolutely separate stories. Shravan Kumar and his parents, him getting killed, the curse on the king, Lord Ram getting sent off into the forest. Now, if you simply took Lord Ram being sent into exile as that little box of time and space, you'd have no explanation for it according to your understanding of karma. Had Ram done something to deserve that? Absolutely not. Was he just in the wrong place at the wrong time? Just a victim of a stepmother's spite? Also no. There were all of those factors that we spoke about last night that were interweaving to make that have to happen. But in order to know that, you would have had to step far enough back from the entire tapestry to understand, that had to happen because of this, and this had to happen. And no, it wasn't his fault, but here's all the things that had to happen. And here's why they all had to happen. A lot of times also, or most of the time, karma is not in a vacuum. Meaning, something that happens to someone, let's say someone gets murdered. Well, the impact on the person who's murdered is not just on them. Yes, they were killed. But it impacts their family. It impacts their community. It impacts the family and the community of the person who did the murdering, right? Some guy gets caught, gets thrown in jail. The ripple impacts on the world of one action, of one person kills another or one person rapes another. It's not just their karma. There's an almost infinite ripple impact on the lives of the people who were impacted by that. And we have no idea what was meant to happen, why and how. We have no idea. I mean, take an example. A single mother doing her best to support her child. She's on the street, but she's trying to support her child. She gets raped. She gets murdered on the street, okay? Did she do something to deserve it? No. That child now is left an orphan. Story goes in the paper. A young woman, from a very privileged background, has been trying to get pregnant, unable to get pregnant with her husband. They really want a child. They see the story. They reach out. They adopt this child. They give this child an opportunity, an education, a home, an upbringing that child otherwise never would have had gotten. That child grows up to be the next Mahatma Gandhi, the next Martin Luther King, the one who invents a cure for cancer. I mean, we could go any one of 100 places with that. But that child never would have had that opportunity had he not become an orphan. The only way to become an orphan was something to happen to his mother. So you see what we're getting at here. Typically when we look at things, we look at them in a vacuum. We look at them through, as though you took a tube from the inside of toilet paper and you were just looking at the world like this. And when you look at it like that, you miss a lot. Most of us see stories like that and we think, my God, where is God? Where is justice? A young woman, poor thing, doing her best to take care of a child. What did this child ever do to become orphaned at such a young age? Watch his mother get killed? But we have no idea actually what the point of all of that was and actually what needed to happen in order. And if that child had been born into the family of privilege, he wouldn't have had maybe that pain in his heart that led him to work for peace and justice. Maybe he would have grown up a spoiled brat. But because of the world he came from, because of what he saw in the first couple years of life, it impacted him in such a way that he knew, I have to do something for the world. I don't know. I mean, I'm making this story entirely up. But there's thousands of different stories that could have come to my mind in different moments and different breaths. But in order to understand karma, we have to have a vision that unfortunately none of us is able to have. We don't have the ability to step far enough back and see all the past, all the future, all the ripple impact into so many different countries all over the world and so many different people. There's also a last piece of it, which is I deeply believe that there are souls that on some conscious level choose to martyr themselves for the benefit of the world. And so there are people. There was a young woman tragically raped on a bus in Delhi many years ago. Most of you probably heard about her. She ended up dying from the attack. This young woman's horrific attack created a wave of women's empowerment movement in India that has transformed policy, the judicial system, from the highest federal level down to things in school. It has created an incredible wave to the point where in just a few short years, how women, how girls think about themselves and their rights has changed drastically. Well, who knows? I'm not pretending to know. I'm not saying that I've connected with her soul in meditation and she told me this. But I think it's very possible, and if not her, others. I deeply, deeply believe that there are souls who really make a conscious decision, that it's not due to some karma they're needing to fulfill, but something that the universe needs to happen. And on some cosmic level, they agree to be the one through whom that happens, to catalyze a movement for peace, a movement for betterhood. And so that's also another possibility. So the short answer is there's a lot of reasons. Don't necessarily assume that it's either it was their fault or it was totally random. I don't believe in utter randomness, but that doesn't mean it's their fault. It means that each of us is a thread as part of a tapestry that's intersecting with innumerable other threads, creating a tapestry of life that none of us has the ability to fully see, but that we have to just have faith is there, and that we're playing our role. Okay. Yeah. Yes. You. Yes.
Yesterday in Satsang, at the very beginning of this Satsang, you talked about doership.
Yeah.
And you said that, I think you said that we are not the doer, but we are the self. So if we are the self, then who is the doer? And following on from that, who has actually created and who governs this world?
Okay.
This universe.
Mm-hmm. Great. So if we're not the doer of our actions, who is the doer? Who's doing everything? Well, a lot of it depends also on, and it's important to step back for a moment and to realize it depends on what level we're looking at things. Meaning, who picked up this glass? I did. Okay? I picked it up. Nobody came in and picked it up for me. I didn't close my eyes and pray to God and use, magic powers to make it come up. I didn't rub my nose and get it up. I did. But when we talk about the doership of the world, the place this teaching comes from is the Bhagavad Gita. Now let's look at where it came from. So what you have is a situation, again, without going into too much of the story, just to enable us not to spend the whole time on it. But you have a situation where you have Arjuna, the warrior. He's on a battlefield. War is about to start. There's two sides. He gets out into the middle of the battlefield. Lord Krishna, his charioteer, brings the chariot into the middle of the battlefield, and he looks out. And he sees not the typical bad guys that you envision as being on the opposite side of a battleground from the good guys, but he looks out and he sees his family, his cousins, his uncles, his guru. And he says, forget it. Not going to fight. Not going to kill them. thus begins the Bhagavad Gita, in which, along with many, many lessons for every aspect of life, comes a teaching in which Lord Krishna basically says, oh, really? Suddenly you think you're the one who has the power to take life? You don't have the power to take life. How did you decide that you are so powerful that you can kill? That's my job. So Lord Krishna's not talking about who has to be the one to raise up the bow, who has to be the one to string the arrow. He's not saying to Arjuna, I'm going to string the arrow for you. I'm going to pick up the glass of water and hold it to your lips. He's talking about the movement in the universe. And it's interesting because he gives both. On the one hand, he says, you're not the doer. On the other hand, he says, stand up and do your duty. Which makes us understand very, very clearly this intersection of them. We must fulfill our duty. It's not, we're not the doer, so I'm going to just sit here. I'm going to get really, really thirsty. Ultimately, get really sick from dehydration. Ultimately, die because I'm waiting for God to lift up this glass of water and bring it to my lips because I'm not the doer. It's not that. I have to do my duty. Part of doing that duty is I have to keep this body functional. Part of that includes I have to drink water. Arjun's duty was fight the war. Why? Because his dharma was to restore dharma. And he had tried, alone and with Lord Krishna's help, every other possible way of restoring dharma other than going to battle. And nothing was going to work. So his dharma was to restore the dharma. His duty was to fight the battle. He had to pick up his bow, string his arrow, pull it back, but he had to do so with the awareness that ultimately the taker of life, like the giver of life, was not him. You can plant a seed, and if you want something to grow, you better plant a seed, because otherwise nothing's going to grow. But after you plant that, you have no control. Whether that seed sprouts, who does that? Who makes that seed sprout? Right? I mean, doesn't matter what word or term we use for God, whether we say the universe, whether we say cosmic intelligence, whether we use a specific name or word or phrase for God. But something is making that seed sprout, and it's certainly not me, because I have no idea how that happens. So I have to do my duty. I've got to plant the seed, and I have to do it with intelligence. I have to understand how much sunlight does it need, how much water does it need, what type of season does this seed need to get planted in. But then ultimately the rest is in God's hands. None of us has any power to make that happen. You want to be healthy? Eat good food. But once you swallow it, does any of us have the power to actually digest that, to turn that into vitamins and minerals? Does anyone know how to do that? Right? if your food wasn't digesting, if you swallowed it and you just for days on end felt this big lump in your stomach, we'd have no idea what to do. We would try to take this medicine, that medicine, we'd call a doctor, somebody do something. If the hardware malfunctions, I have no idea how to repair it. I would have no idea what to do in my own body to make that start to digest. We can't even make that happen. And so this is where duty and then divinity or grace intersect. Lord Krishna's not going to come and plant the seeds in your garden. You've got to plant them. But the doer makes them sprout. Now, who is that? Well, it depends what religion we come from, what culture, what spiritual tradition. We've all got a different way of understanding it. But to me, I think if we talk about a capital P planner, that might be universally acceptable. By any name, any form, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Uh-huh.
It's a natural force, a natural energy.
Well, it's certainly not a synthetic force. If my only choices are natural or synthetic, then it's definitely natural, not synthetic. But here's the thing. When we talk about natural and nature, well, who's created nature? Right? I mean, the laws of nature, we have a lot of laws of nature. Karma, law is a law of nature. Gravity, another law of nature. But who created those? Well, they didn't pop up out of thin air. Our universe. For me, it's funny. A lot of people think that science and spirituality are opposites and can't go together. I find myself more in love with God watching National Geographic specials on the nature of the universe, the nature of Earth, how it was created, the Big Bang. I mean, there's very little beyond being on the banks of Ganga or actually meditating that makes me more in love with God than watching an incredible documentary on the gorgeousness and the impeccableness and the perfection of creation, of how it all happened, because there is no way. The scientist in me says, there is no way this could be random. Yes, the planner, the capital P planner, has given laws, has given gravity, has given karma, has given evolution. So it's not, do we believe in God or do we believe in evolution? God has created these systems. Of course evolution exists. Of course that's how human bodies were formed. Of course you can trace it through ancestors. Of course there's a process of selection. Of course all of that happened. Of course there's gravity, but that's not instead of God. That makes us understand the incredible brilliance of the planner. I mean, what a plan, right? I take in food. My body uses what it needs, expels the rest. I mean, it's brilliant. And so who is that doer? Well, who makes the apple fall off the tree? You could say gravity. Take a simple physics class. You can explain it by velocity, by mass, by energy. How gravity works. Could tell you, even if you tell me how high the branch was, how long it's going to take for that apple to hit the ground, what's going to be the force when it hits the ground. So yeah, what makes it fall? Who's the doer of that? Gravity. But who's given us gravity? God, the creator, the intelligence. I mean, again, I don't want to put words in the mouth of people from so many different religious and cultural and spiritual backgrounds. It doesn't matter. But that divine planner has put in motion these laws. And in that, remember, we have a law of karma. Just like gravity. So gravity's easy to get. Apple falls from the tree. When you talk about birth and death, the example she just gave, somebody gets raped, somebody gets murdered, and the made-up example I gave of, okay, well, the woman and the child, and he's going to grow up to... Well, there's an intelligence in the universe. What name you want to give that intelligence, it's totally irrelevant to me. That intelligence is the doer. Somebody understood this child needs to have exactly the experience that he had for the first few years of life to create in his heart the compassion, the understanding, the pain in his heart. And then he needed to have the experience and the education and the opportunities. Some intelligence understood that and made it all happen. What you call that doesn't matter. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna calls that me. Wonderful. If that's your scripture of choice, fantastic. But if it's not, don't worry. Whatever you call that cosmic intelligence, it doesn't matter. But that's the doer. Okay?
Does Jesus restore the Dharma also? Sorry.
I'm sorry?
Does Jesus restore the Dharma also?
Of course. Absolutely. As long as that name and that form is one that is infinite, then yes. If that name and that form is something that we relegate to only a little box, then no, I don't think so. On a personal level. Because in order to really restore Dharma, righteousness, oneness, light, that intelligence can't play favorites. If the Creator is one, and the creation has all come out of the Creator, then that Creator, in order to restore Dharma, can't be playing favorites. So as long as our concept of the divine is one that is infinite, one that is able to be accessed by whatever name or form we use, then absolutely. Is Jesus also a way in? Absolutely. Is it the only way in? I don't think so. Because there's no experience of the infinite divine I know of that would say to us there's only one way in. As infinite as the divine presence is, there must also be an infinite number of ways of accessing it. So yes, absolutely. Whatever name or form or religion, absolutely. That prophet, that seer, that form of the divine can be the restorer of Dharma. As long as it's on the basis of an equal love for all of God's children. To me, on a personal level. I have a very difficult time personally conceiving of any concept of the divine that would play favorites. That would say, you people are worthy of grace, you are not. In the same way that I wouldn't think much of a mother or father who played favorites with their children. I'll love you, but I won't love you. You can sit in my lap, you can't. What would we think of a parent like that? And so, if even human parents are expected to love their children equally, can't we expect the same of God? Shouldn't God be able to have the same power, the same grace, the same compassion as we expect of human parents? But that's my personal feeling about it. I wouldn't give you that as some sort of an official, dictate on the different religions. But that's just a personal feeling for me. Is my experience of God is one of such love and such grace and such compassion that I just cannot imagine God ever saying, you but not you. This name but not that name. This form but not that form. I'll accept your love but not your love. Yeah.
Then we speak about sacrifice and war. It's that this point is not so clear for me.
Okay.
One is sacrifice and one is making war.
Okay. Can we start with that tomorrow night? No, that's okay. Nothing to be sorry about. I'm just very aware that it's time to conclude. But we can absolutely take that up tomorrow night. It's a very good point. The distinction between war and sacrifice. Absolutely. And I saw that you had a question as well. Can we take it tomorrow? Are you going to be here?
I can still be here.
Fantastic.
Ruth is leaving, but
Okay.
may I just ask?
Sure.
That maybe anyone wanted to hear. So by your definition of what you're saying, that your personal opinion of who is a sage, a seer, or whatnot, so is that something that really can only be determined through a period after, like a history of time, to see if something is endured as infinite versus can you, like maybe when Jesus appeared on the planet or anyone else, Buddha or whomever, they may have just sounded like a crazy person to a lot of people. So at what point does that person become someone or entity become something that is divine?
That's a really interesting question, and if you can be here tomorrow, I would love that, because that's a great place also to start. Yeah, how do we know? How do we know when someone is divine? She said, when Jesus and Buddha were here, maybe people thought they were crazy. At what point does a prophet become divine? So wonderful. So we'll take that tomorrow too. Have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your evening, everyone, and we'll see you all tomorrow.